What's going on, guys? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Guy.
And we are
The Action Guys.
It's still cool every time we do it.
It still is this many episodes in after taking about a month off.
I can't believe it.
You broke your back?
Yeah.
I was wondering what it was going to feel like.
I got baned.
You got baned.
Actually,
I was wondering what would break first.
this is The Action Guys. We are going to talk about Joker shit today. It's going to happen. But just as a quick aside, in the Schmodown Facebook group, somebody was like, I hope Ben gets better and is back. And somebody posted like a toy version of Bane breaking Batman's back with no comment. I was like, I just had back surgery. Like, it's not really very funny.
It was me. That was me.
But I was like, it's also pretty funny.
And it's also pretty fitting in the movie trivia page.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we are back here in the Collider Studios talking movies. This is The Action Guys. We talk about movies on this show. And as I mentioned, I was out. I was out for a month. I had back surgery. It's crazy. I'm not all the way healthy yet, but I am recovering, and I can sit still for longer than 5 minutes now, which was not the case at one point.
Yeah, no, you and I both did an episode of Collider Mailbag about a month ago, and I remember you filmed yours directly after I filmed mine, and I think you only paused once. Like, you took a break once, but I could tell you would shift your entire body weight like once every few minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't think you notice it on camera. I just notice it because I've worked with you on camera for so long.
My leg's under the table. There's actually a picture I posted on my Instagram that I looked the other day, and I was like, man, if you look closely at this, my legs are so weirdly contorted and like hanging under my chair. I'm almost falling off the chair.
You're literally doing anything you can to not like scream from pain.
Oh, it was horrific. Anyway, so that's all going to be behind me very soon, and I'm back to work talking about movies. Back here talking on The Action Guys, and today the episode we're talking about is the definitive ranking of all screen Jokers in theatrically released films. So I know this is a hot button topic. I know a lot of people have talked about it already. We couldn't miss the Joker conversation. I unfortunately got hurt during it, so we just had to capitalize. We had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously a couple weeks late. Movie's been out. We saw the screener of the movie. We saw it before it was released, and we had all the intentions to cover it on AMA weeks ago, cover it here weeks ago, but that's not the case. But we're still here talking about it. The episode on Action Movie Anatomy dropped earlier today. It was very, there's tons of interaction. Everyone is still so excited to talk about this movie. So I know we're a little late, but it doesn't feel like we've missed the boat.
No, especially because this is gonna live on as an episode that I think people will like to reference. It's kind of a fun series we've started doing. I was saying the other day, we have the definitive ranking of all Batman films. We have the definitive ranking of all Spider-Man films, the definitive ranking of Jokers, the definitive Pixar rankings. That I think we've done a lot of them, the MCU rankings. They tend to be some of the most, people talk about the episodes a lot. People like these. It sucks when new movies come out in the franchise because then you're missing that one, so the episode's not evergreen anymore.
Yeah, it feels like it's one of those things where we will most likely never do another ranking where we haven't seen the most recent film, and then if we haven't seen one of the movies in the conversation, one of us has.
But I don't think there's going to be another Joker portrayal for a while because the Leto one was recent enough. I don't think Matt Reeves is going to put him. Definitely not.
What about in Suicide Squad 2? You think he'll be in that?
Weird. If I was Jared Leto, I would stay so far away from that movie.
Especially now?
Yeah.
After all the rumors come out about him trying to sandbag Joker, how successful Joker was.
Yep.
It feels like if I'm him, unless he's completely contractually obligated, you peace out.
I think we would have heard by now, just because that movie's in production already. They've already released the full list of all the people that are in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like a big surprise. People are
I'm
stoked
real
about.
excited.
I mean, I think the Suicide Squad actually gets an unfairly horrific rap. I think that movie's really bad, but I don't think it's
real bad.
The level of unwatchable that people talk about.
Like people talk about it's because of Joker. It's because of the Joker, not Joker the movie, but because of the Joker, what Heath Ledger did, and obviously now with what Joaquin's done, it's just always going to be a sore spot. You're never going to go into that and just be like, yeah, well, Harley Quinn was awesome. That's why I love that movie.
Right.
I
mean, you're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yes.
I mean, it's like people all say that movie is like redeemable because of Harley Quinn and Deadshot.
Exactly.
Deadshot?
Deadshot.
Yeah. Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Uh-huh.
And that's true. I mean, that's the only reason that movie is like somewhat watchable. But we're going to talk about all the different portrayals. I think some people have stronger opinions on that Jared Leto portrayal of Joker than others. I know some people think it's like one of the worst ththings they've ever seen, just an actual walking pile of shit on camera. We have missed one portrayal. We missed it in our ranking of all the Batman, and it was Will Arnett as Lego Batman. And Zach Galifianakis is Lego
as Joker.
I've still never seen the movie.
I think I've seen it once, but again, when we're talking live action for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's going to be a lot of controversy on this episode, and I'm going to say it right now because I don't believe Mark Hamill belongs in the conversation of the best on-screen Jokers. I love Mark Hamill. I love Mask of the Phantasm. I love the animated series. I love I love Mark Hamill.
It's fair, yeah.
But again, when we get through what we're talking about, the rankings, all those things, I really, truly don't believe he lands on my list just because of what I'll discuss later on.
We'll discuss a little later. So the way we're going to do this, guys, and you know, we'll give our little social media shout-outs here in just one second. But the way we're going to do this is we are going to talk about the outfit. We're going to talk about the makeup, the physicality, the ruthlessness, the interactions with other characters, and finally, and maybe most importantly, the laugh.
Yeah.
That we're going to go through that conversation. We're going to kind of each during the conversation pick our favorite and a runner-up for each of those, and then finally, the end, live, we're going to do our actual rankings. And I think the two honorable mentions that we will not include in the list are one of them is going to be Zach Galifianakis.
Yes,
and the second one, and this is going to be controversial.
It will.
We're not going to put Cesar Romero's portrayal of Joker on our list, and the reason is because it feels like the Godfather performance of the character that brought him to screen, but an absolutely different character. Like, not at all trying to elicit the same reaction from the audience. And on top of which, it's not a character that we have done enough research into in our movie watching to really want to compare to these other ones. It feels almost blasphemous to the Cesar Romero portrayal to put him up against a Joaquin Phoenix. Like, it's just comic relief to throw at the back of the list.
Exactly. It's night and day. You know, what you expected as an audience back then to what we expect in an audience even in '89. It just doesn't feel like it's in the same ballpark or that they were ever trying to accomplish the same thing. So, you know, much ups to Zach and Cesar. We love it. Thank you. But the conversation is about Hamill. Wow, I know their names. Hamill, Leto, Joaquin, of course, Nicholson, and of course, Heath Ledger. Those are going to be the five that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I think it's the fairest way to do the discussion. You know, again, like, it almost feels more disrespectful to put Cesar Romero at the back of the list than it does to just have him as an honorable mention.
100%.
Because I think there are people out there who would put him as the number one because he's the Godfather portrayal, because of what he's able to do with it. And I just don't really want to step in that pile of poop.
We'll throw ourselves under the bus. We are not educated enough about that Joker iteration to discuss it on the show in depth like we're going to do about everyone else. Same thing with Zach. So, let's actually do some quick social media plugs. You guys can find me at Andrew Guy. You can find him at Ben Bateman Media. You can find the show at Team Action Show. And make sure to check out patreon.com/Team Action. There's always tons of content on there. As you know, as the movie Trivia Schmodown is going towards the end of the year, there's a ton of matches because of the tournaments. We'll be doing behind-the-scenes reactions to that. We're also going to be doing other content. Who knows? Maybe I'll even do Joker makeup on the show.
Holy smokes.
I know. I love it.
Yes, as he mentioned, check out all the different places you can find our content, live streams, things like that, and our show every single week on here on the Collider Podcast feed, the factory feed. Thank you guys so much for supporting it. If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, leave a comment. What is your definitive ranking of your Jokers? I want to know exactly how do you rank them if you are listening to this. So I think without further ado, we should just get into it.
Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna start. Yeah, we're gonna start number one with the outfit. So again, just so you guys remember, the five Jokers that we're talking about are Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, Jack Nicholson, and strangely enough, with this one, Mark Hamill. It's a drawn outfit, but I'll still qualify it.
I still love it.
So let's just go one by one. Why don't we start with the roughest one for you, the Mark Hamill?
The roughest, yeah. So
this is interesting. It's a drawn outfit, so it still has
some No, you know what? I won't go straight to saying it's the worst one, but again, it just becomes a thing about the way that they adorn the outfit. When you see Joaquin finally put it on, when you see Heath Ledger come out in the purple jacket, when you see Jack coming out with his Joker suit. It's the way they wear it and how they look when they're wearing it. Now, again, the cartoon is great, but it's a cartoon. It's drawn. It's drawn exactly the way that someone wants to, it's the picture. It's not about the interpretation from the actor. Now, I know they don't have a say in costume design, but still, when you put it on, it just does something different for me than when I watch a drawn thing.
The prop kind of helps the actor embody the character. See, I go a little deeper on this one, and I say that I think that sort of neo-noir presentation of the Batman animated series is such a special piece of Batman history, and is so, for me, it's a very distinctive memory of Joker. Like, as a kid, I identified with that Joker far more than the Jack Joker. I had to get older to appreciate the Jack Joker. There was something about the Jack Joker being like too close to human, and kind of like him farting and being like a little more like portly. Like, he wasn't in shape. There was just stuff to him that was just like, he felt, I guess, more gross. Whereas the Mark Hamill one felt scary. that he felt like clown clothing is what was being worn by Jack at the time to me, but it felt like he was scary with the yellow teeth. And the laugh is, well, that's a different category. But
yeah, but like the purple, like the velvet that he's wearing, it's like in the flower, the acid flower, and like I love that like when his lady like comes up and grabs his jacket.
It's also so inspired too by the Jack outfit, which is the interesting thing is that animated series character, it pays such homage to Jack because '89 had popularized Batman so much.
And here's the thing. You look at what we have now, and yes, the Joaquin Phoenix is a different color scheme, but it's also different colors in different places. Because it's like his jacket's more orange, whereas Jack's jacket is an orange undershirt. He wears an orange button-up and a purple jacket, right? Which is very similar to Heath Ledger's. Yeah. You know, he gets that deep purple, that royal purple. I have to say, my favorite, still to this day, it's Jack. It's the one that I saw growing up. It's the one that you said Hamill's based off of. It's the one that Ledger steals from in the sense of like it's purple. It's like purple. It's the thing, you know. And then like,
what's your runner-up? I think before you have to declare it, we can talk through a couple of the others just sort of details-wise. Because let's talk Ledger. Because you know the most iconic portrayal of the character Joker ever is Heath Ledger, and it's for so many reasons beyond his performance. It has so much more to do with sort of the mythos of his death and the character and all that. Really interesting too, just as a side note on that. So Michael Jai White was in this studio with Collider Live, like I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and he's talking about working with Heath on the movie. You know, because he plays Gamble and. He's like, one thing that really bothers me so much is people talk so much about how the role of Joker drove Heath crazy, how it was like one of the causes of his sort of dark place that he went into. And he's like, you know, the guy was breaking character between every take, cracking jokes, hanging out, such a sweet guy, so like, so much fun, and like not at all the way people talk about that. People have created this myth, I think, to sort of justify his untimely death. And I don't know if that's entirely true. It's not like Michael Jai White was his best friend. But
I can't imagine he came on the show to like tell fairy tales about Heath Ledger being nice during Dark Knight.
But I thought that was so interesting as a guy that has legit scenes with Joker.
Right.
Like he's couple big scenes with him.
Yeah, heated scenes.
Yeah. So, you know, I just thought that was interesting. But talking about that Joker's outfit, you know, I mean, that's the one, you've got the weird sort of like octagon shapes on the white and green shirt. You've got
the green suspenders that are awesome.
The long jacket, which I really, really like.
I mean, honestly, I think my favorite picture of him in a costume, I mean, I love when he comes out, but I love that like deep green vest when he's sitting in the jail cell.
And his makeup's kind of smeared, and the roll sleeves are rolled up.
Yeah, and he's got, like, I think the pants are, like, purple because they're the suit pants. I love that look. That's my favorite Heath Ledger moment in the costume.
I would say my number one for the Joker looks is going to be that. It's that moment. It's that portrayal of the character. I really like. It's a combination of, like, menacing, but also not unbelievable. Like you would, you know, like with Jack, it's like it's so well groomed and it's the right color scheme. It's like you going from the character of was it Jack Napier? Is that his?
Yep, Jack Napier
in the movie. Going from that character who dresses the way he dresses to like the purples and stuff. It's like it's very much the Tim Burton dark comic book universe that he wants.
Is. Yes.
So it feels less intentional or believable. It's like whereas like with Ledger, there's something about the outfit that just somehow feels exactly like what he would wear. That character would wear.
Yeah, and like, you know, you think about Tim Burton, you think a little bit like Willy Wonka. Obviously, this was so long before that he got the opportunity to put Johnny Depp in a somewhat similar color-schemed outfit. But what do you think about Joaquin's?
I love Joaquin's outfit.
I think
it's really cool. I think one of the coolest things about it is that it's extremely era-specific, and it's not really that jokery. It's more just like he's a clown wearing a brightly colored suit from that time period. So I almost think it works perfectly for that version of the character. It's not distinctive in the same way, though.
Right.
You know, so I would have to say, even though the sort of fairy tale thing that Jack is doing is awesome, I go number 1 Ledger, number 2 Hamill, because I love the sharp edges of Hamill's outfit. I like what it takes from the Jack.
Well, he's very pointy in general. He's drawn very pointy.
So
Joker.
sharp, and you know, and like again, like the dressing of sort of his character. Let's just say the color of his teeth are part of the outfit because he's drawn. I think it's so distinctive. I remember those yellow teeth.
I know the yellow teeth. I mean, Heath has them too, right?
Yeah, and when he would have the hat on and he would like turn his face into the light, you would see, you wouldn't know who he is. Then he'd right.
Yeah. What about a quick layer to add into this of? Because we see him in costume. We see every single Joker out of costume as well. Heath's is much shorter.
True.
It's like very quick. When they're
dressed up as a cop.
Yes, exactly. You see the scars on his face, and you're like, how the hell did that guy end up convincing anyone that he was? But you see Napier, obviously, at the beginning of the movie, you see Jack not in makeup at all, and then he like wipes off his face and it puts the makeup on, which I loved. And then obviously, most of the movie, you're not seeing Joaquin in the makeup. Do you have a favorite not in makeup?
look. I mean, again, it's so difficult. The recency bias
Or
of
the
Joaquin
contrast
is
even.
just really difficult. I think probably if you're going to go, though, with the most effective out-of-makeup performance, it has to be Joaquin.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a question.
He's so terrifying as Arthur Fleck in a way that none of the other characters, I guess they just don't feel like their character when the makeup's off.
Yeah, they feel like they're not the dude, whereas like Arthur Fleck feels less like himself when he's in the Joker makeup, honestly.
I love the long jacket by Ledger, too. I think that's another one of the distinctive characteristics that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's the first subject. My number one's Ledger. My secondary is Hamill. I give him a lot of credit there.
Yeah, my number one is going to be Jack. I think my number two is Ledger.
You go Ledger as the two. Okay, so let's get into makeup.
I'm actually happy that I already got a Jack one out of the way.
Yeah.
I love Jack.
Me too, dude.
You know, it's what I grew up on.
Totally.
But it feels so disconnected now with how much praise these other two performances have gotten.
We have 3, and honestly, 4. If you really include the praise that Hamill's gotten over the years, you have 4 extremely
100%,
iconic, distinctive performances of this character that are like, and again, I mean Romero too. Really, it's just a different era.
And I do want to say one more time, I love Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Yeah.
This is not what that is about. So
I totally get
one more time.
I totally get your point. Your point is that he is being asked to do something differently than everyone else, and he gets credit in the same way. But I do think that, like, I'll just give you an example. It's the last thing we're going to talk about when we get to laugh. I would be hard-pressed to find you not put Hamill's laugh in the top 2. I'd be shocked if you don't. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
But I'd be blown away. I think it's probably the most distinctive of all the Joker laughs. So, anyway, getting into makeup, number 2.
Yep.
This one's really interesting.
This is a really tough one because
this is the only one. This is literally the only one that if somebody else was making this list and they put Jared Leto on, I would be like, I
kind of okay
get
with it.
where you're coming from because it's so distinctive.
I love that we didn't even talk about Leto in the first
Well, it's
column.
just
it's
stupid.
stupid.
But I mean, like all his tattoos and his grill and his eyes and the stuff with like doesn't he have a lip tattoo?
Yeah, he's got a lip tattoo.
Something on his hand,
and he's
like-
got tons of tats and his hair, everything about him. He's like a very much like
His visual presentation is interesting enough that if somebody wanted to defend it, I could sort of hear them out.
yeah.
I just don't love it. It doesn't. It feels like a lot of the stuff he was going for to sort of modernize Joker with like the grill and all that and the tattoos.
It just feels a little too. It feels like
little
you're
too
putting,
hot topic.
Well, yeah, exactly. It feels too hot topic, and it's also like, how long did you take to get ready this morning, Joker?
Yeah.
Before you went out and murdered people, Joker.
Yeah.
He's like about 2 hours.
Totally
you
agree.
know?
So I think we can both start there. I think that's an interesting point, though. And like one thing I really want to elicit from you guys who are listening and watching is tweet at us. Obviously, if you just are listening on audio, if you have a strong opinion about this. If you really like the Jared Leto performance, because this is obviously it's the black sheep of this whole list.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie about it. If you're a huge fan and there's a reason, please don't tear us down because that's not fun. But if you want to let us know why in a reasonable manner, like share your opinion, I'm actually all for it. Because I think that's a performance that over time, as that movie goes out of people's memory and people stop shitting on it so much, people are actually going to commend parts of that performance more than they did. I think there are things to that performance that are cool, but I would love to know. So, makeup, obviously, the Hamill thing's really weird because it's like, it's just white and drawn. Like, it feels like it has to be last on the list, even behind Leto.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like for me personally, it's impossible not to go Ledger because of the idea that he asked Nolan to let him do his own makeup.
Yeah.
And if it's okayed by the makeup team and by you, then it can be in the movie.
Yeah.
And I love how thrown together it looks, right? Now
Totally.
the Arthur Fleck one in Joker works too because you're like, all right, this psychopath has been sitting in front of the mirror for 2 hours painting his face.
He's also a clown.
He's also a clown.
He
He's
works
done it.
as a clown.
Exactly. He's trained to do that. Whereas you look at Joker and it's kind of smeared, kind of smudged, kind of weak around the edges because he didn't fill out his face and like the accentuation of the scars with his. I love the makeup and I love it so much because I think it came from Heath.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really impossible not to just go Ledger Joaquin. Ledger's my 1 on this, and Joaquin's my 2. Because that's one of the things about the Jack makeup that I don't love. It's such a different era. It's so much more like carefully put together, and his lips are so clean.
Everything's perfect about it.
It's very cool in its own right. Actually, maybe I go Jack over Joaquin now that I think about it. I really like Joaquin's makeup, but I mean, Jack does have such more of a distinctive look. Joaquin almost just feels like the less good version of Ledger.
Well, it's like you look at this, right? And his hair's so green and vibrant.
I gotta go Jack.
You gotta go Jack, right?
Yeah,
I think I go Ledger 1, Joaquin 2.
Jack
Maybe it's
3.
recency bias. Yeah, definitely Jack 3. But absolutely adore. And plus, like once his because his makeup gets messed up a couple times.
Yeah.
Jax does, especially when he falls. But yeah, for me, it's just got to be Ledger. It just feels so real and it's so sloppy.
Yeah. And the way it works with the scars is probably the most distinctive and coolest part about it.
Yeah.
And just the way it plays in. So right now I've got Ledger Hamill Flower. Wow, I can't talk.
It's okay. It's been a month.
It's been a month. For outfit, I have Ledger and Hamill. And then for makeup, I've got Ledger Jack. So I've got back-to-back Ledger wins on my book.
I know. It does end up feeling like once we deduce this down, once we break it down, it's like, how does it just not end up being Heath Ledger? He won an Oscar for a Joker performance. I mean, Joaquin could this year as well, but I think for me, I go number 1, Ledger, number 2, Joaquin, number 3, Jack.
So we're going to get into physicality next.
Oh.
And this is an interesting one that I think we probably both have the same answer for, but we're going to find out. So, again, starting with you just Hamill's not in the conversation for this.
Because he didn't do it.
Because he's a cartoon.
It's drawn.
So that's one of your points, kind of, is that it's very, very hard to compare. So you're dealing with Leto, Ledger, Joaquin, and Jack. And I can say outright, I do not like the physicality of Jack's performance. He's very clownish and like, ooh, and runs around. It's one of the things as a kid that made that character feel less scary than he should have.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like Leto at all.
Yeah, Leto's, I mean, it's fine. But again, it doesn't feel like his comes from anywhere. It feels like he's doing it to do it. You know what I mean?
He has movements, like quick twitch laugh stuff that I think works, where he does feel sort of erratic and crazy.
Right.
And it's not like it's all lost on me. But, well, actually, then again, like the physicality of Heath is like sort of one of the things that he's probably the most lacking on. He doesn't have the, like, for me, it's just very clearly Joaquin.
I mean, what about when he's like walking in the street, hunched over, like dragging the gun, and he like tips over when he shoots it? Like, he does have physicality.
True, yeah, he's standing in the street as the truck's coming towards him, or when he's in like when he's in the nurse outfit and he's walking.
Yeah, like all these things. He's walking out and it blows up, and like, he's definitely got it.
And actually, his like licking of the lips.
I was gonna say
distinctive.
the lip thing is the number one thing for me that like stands out from Heath Ledger's performance.
Yeah. It's really good. But I definitely go Joaquin number 1.
You have to.
Because it's the dancing and like the contortions of his back, and you see his spine when he's lost all this weight. And, like, it's really freaky. And like, honestly, there's even little things like when he's in the hospital and the gun drops out, the way his body moves.
Oh man,
it freaks you out.
And you feel bad for him in that moment when the gun comes out. You're like, oh God, you idiot. You idiot.
And how uncomfortable he seems to feel in so many situations when he's not in makeup and in control. Like, how much more calm does he look on the movie set or on the TV set, right? In the interview, he's so like smooth and real and normal compared to like earlier when he's just like hunched and dancing and like.
Well, the one thing that it feels like when I watch Joaquin's is that the whole time it feels like it reminds me of Men in Black. It reminds me of Vincent D'Onofrio, an alien being stuck in a human's body. And it looks like he's just trying to get out of this skin that he can't shake. Always, and the dancing is incredible. There's like classically trained dance moves in there that are very difficult to pull off. You can tell that he replicates Chaplin a decent amount. There's just so much behind it. And God, yeah, I love Ledger's, but I think you just have to go with Joaquin because that's the most unique thing about it.
It's totally it's the thing that like got my attention in the movie the most, probably. Even more than the violence was his physical embodiment of the character and those dancing moments, which like again, making fun of Suicide Squad for a second. Whatever her name is Enchantress? It's not Enchantress. Maybe it is Enchantress.
You're talking about
Cara Delevingne?
Yeah.
I think it is Enchantress.
Might be.
She has a dance she does at one point in the movie. It's horrible. I mean, there's stuff when you try, like in, good examples of this would be when Orlando Bloom is driving in Elizabethtown and Learning to Fly comes on the radio.
Best moment in movie history.
And he's like trying to basically imitate Tom Cruise singing Free Fallin'. I don't know why Cameron Crowe decided that was a good idea to just go back to the well.
I'm going to do this cool thing in the car again.
And you're like...
It's a good Tom Petty song.
Exactly. And you're like, wow, this is horrible. Like, this has absolutely lost me. Like, I can't believe you just went for that.
Cut to me, who saw Elizabethtown first, crying on my couch. This is so beautiful.
Movie does have a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think My Father's Gun by
it's
Elton
a really
John
good moment.
is in that one.
There's also the song that his friend sings when he when he opened for Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, I think it's not it's the other, not Freebird, right?
Yeah, it's not free. No, it's like I think it's one of their originals or something.
Okay.
But anyway, I actually really like that movie.
Yeah. Cut to us both liking Elizabethtown. So funny. Good cast.
Yeah.
All right, so
let's just talk about Elizabethtown for a while. Orlando Bloom should have been Joker.
So Joaquin is my 1, Ledger's my 2 here.
Yeah, I think Yeah, there's no way to do anything otherwise. I think it goes Joaquin
This is
Ledger.
probably the most cut and dry of, I would say, all of the categories. It's
I
just
agree.
hard to really go anywhere else. So you get into ruthlessness, which is our next category.
Oh, so this is interesting.
And it's weird because, like, a Joker being ruthless, like killing people and having like just zero patience for anyone's well-being is none of their portrayals are so void of morality that they want to just like murder children. Like, it's not really something you see.
Yeah. What about Jack? Does Jack have moments?
I mean, Jack's like releasing gas from the balloons. He wants to kill people.
Kill the whole city.
It's pretty ruthless.
It's pretty ruthless. Joker won't even blow up the ships. He wants them to do it first, but then obviously he's still going to go for it at the end.
Yeah, and he's like, there's just a lot of stuff. Like, he has single kills. I mean, he makes him fight to the death with a broken pool cue. That's pretty ruthless.
That is pretty ruthless. And he sets that one dude on fire on a stack of money. He's going to feed the other one to his dogs. The problem is you never see any of it.
Yeah,
and you never know if he's actually going to follow through with it because that's part of the Joker, right?
Yeah, and then you go to Joaquin, and it's like he kills these guys on the subway. Otherwise, it's not until he gets to the end of the movie that he starts.
Well, the neck stabbing.
That's true. That's pretty
gnarly.
Actually, that's probably the single most violent, ruthless Joker moment that's ever been in a movie. Now that I think about it,
I think so, because it's the only time it's been rated R as well, so you can get the blood.
And that moment definitely made me jump. It was
yeah,
that whole
you were
scene.
Like, you were like, God, you were a little out of your skin in that moment.
That whole scene, it happened so fast, and then like it's so bloody and
so intense.
And the dwarf is sitting there. The whole thing was pretty crazy. You know who the actor he kills there is?
Who?
I can't think of his name offhand, but he's the killer in True Detective Season 1. He's the bad guy.
Oh,
scars on his face.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I recognize him right away. Errol Childress, maybe is his name in the show.
He's like cutting the lawn early on in the show, isn't he?
Yeah, you see him. I think it's the end of episode 4.
It's like episode 2 or 3.
It's early.
It's early.
God, that show's so good.
It's so good.
You just watch
Spoiler alert! I just watched episode 2 again because Ash and I are going through and watching.
Oh, really?
It's so good.
Ah, sweet.
I know. Yeah, that's definitely the most intense moment we get. Period. And then honestly, what he does to De Niro at the end.
Yeah. Blows his head off.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. So, I mean, I think if you have to go what you see on screen, well, what about animated Joker? Preach a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So, like, you go to the animated Joker, the version that you see in Mask of the Phantasm, and he's evil, but he's not even in the movie that much. He's a villain at the end. If you want to go a little further to some of the stuff, like, you know, him in the Return of the Joker, the Batman Beyond movie, which is like another one of the really distinctive performances of that character. He's violent, but it's just kids stuff. So like you can't really lean into ruthlessness. It doesn't also feel like he's ever got plots.
Nicholson killed Bruce Wayne's parents. That's the thing.
You said that earlier on the other show. I was trying to remember.
I know. Someone confirmed. Napier is the one that shoots him because it's his buddy. It's like, let's go, Jack. Let's go. And that's him.
And he says he ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. Yeah. Sweet.
Are you on LSD?
I guess like. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to remember if there's any Leto scene that's like even gives you the slightest semblance that he's ruthless.
I'll be honest. I've seen it the one time.
Me too.
I know I need to probably watch it again to give like a true.
Feels like he only has 2 scenes in the movie or 3 or something. He's like not in it very much.
Pretty ruthless how he lays around that thing of knives.
That's the one scene I keep referencing.
That's the one thing I keep thinking about.
It ruins the character. I mean,
and him at the end, he gets away. Yeah, I think honestly, just because it's so based in reality and real, I think you do have to go Joaquin, but I go number 2 as Jack. I really go Jack as number 2 because of him killing Bruce Wayne's parents and because of the idea of trying to gas and murder the whole town. And in the movie, he is literally trying to he's already gone through and killed a shitload of people because people are so terrified to use even personal hygiene products, right? Because he's poisoned
everything.
Of them. Yeah. Everything. And he's killing newscasters on air and stuff.
So what I'm going to say is I agree with you, except I'm switching it. Jack's number 1 for me because Joaquin has one scene that's extremely ruthless.
Right.
But that's basically it. Otherwise, he's just pissed that people aren't nice to him.
Yeah.
So, and at the end,
and he's like trying to make a statement as opposed to actually
riots,
just being,
but he's not the guy that kills the parents. And he's not really killing anybody in the riots.
I think you might have convinced me. I think I switched and go Jack 1 and Joaquin 2 as well.
Because then Ledger's pretty evil,
but like, I mean, yeah, there's the pen through the eye, which is awesome.
Blows up hospitals once they're evacuated.
You
know, he definitely just blows up Rachel Dawes.
He does just kill her. Rachel Dawes.
Just pretty savage.
But honestly, the series got better after that.
Actually, yeah, I gotta cut Joaquin here. All Joaquin does is shoot 3 guys on the bus, and kill a guy with a knife who like basically sold him out.
Right, when you would expect any Joker to have already done those things.
He's like not really ruthless. He's just trying. He's basically like just getting by.
Now I can't just
he's the most
jump
violent.
again. He's the most violent.
But he's not the most ruthless.
Yeah.
I think you got to go Jack. I would go Jack 1, Ledger 2 here. They're the most fully realized I want to kill the whole city characters. And
Just
you
want chaos
see
for
them
chaos.
do it.
All right, fine. You've converted me twice.
Yeah.
Jack 1, Ledger 2.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
So we go down to the next category. We got interactions. This is a really interesting one because
you think interactions with henchmen, interactions with the civilians, interactions with Batman specifically, or interactions with other villains.
or just other people. Like with Joaquin, you get to see him interact with people before he's Joker. You know,
Zazie Beetz, how sweet he is.
Yeah, you have two Jokers that have on camera interacted with Harley Quinn, right? One of them is obviously Mark Hamill, and one is Jared Leto. I don't have big problems with Leto's interaction with Harley, but his interactions with characters in general just, again, he's just unmemorable.
It's just not exactly. And we both like him. We both like Jared Leto.
It feels it's like such a moment to shit on him because like, all that stuff with him trying to get the movie canceled, but like he just doesn't do it for me. He's like one of my favorite actors, but just that's just a role that, unfortunately, his performance in that role is just remembered horribly because it's in a terrible movie. And like, even stuff with the knives, if you had put him in a better movie, it's possible people would have been like commended it.
And his voice is almost cool.
Yeah.
It's like almost because he kind of.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
Yeah.
He does like weird shit.
Cool.
Again, like the swing that he takes as an actor there is one where if you got that role, Andrew Guy, the actor, you were to get that role and I was to go see it in theaters, I would not go on shows and be like, he fucking sucked. I would go on shows and be like,
he swung for the fences.
Bad. Some of the choices he made were shitty. But I mean, it's not like, you know, I'm sure his friends who were around him during that time were probably so excited.
Yeah.
They probably saw it.
I mean, he was excited.
They probably saw it and they were like, dude, you were awesome.
There's also the things about you never know what ends up on the editing room floor.
I've heard there's a whole bunch of stuff that didn't make that movie.
And there's a lot of, obviously, the writing that you have no effect over.
Yeah.
You sign on to be the Joker, but you didn't write the script.
No.
You didn't, you know, so.
I know, it feels terrible. But as far as interactions go, you know, and then with Jack, you know, you have him with his henchmen. You have like, oh, you know, the one thing that I didn't have on this list we have to add.
Palance. I was thinking of their voice. Like the actual voice, I think we should tie into laugh.
Yeah, we'll do laugh voice, and we definitely need Joker moment. We need the most
Joker moment.
You just need your most distinctive single moment.
Do we go through and okay. So to go back to interactions, let's think. Let's do the number one thing.
Yeah.
Them talking to Batman. Obviously, Joaquin out.
Doesn't get that.
Well, he talks to Thomas Wayne and he talks to Bruce as a kid
for a second.
And it's his scene with Thomas Wayne is arguably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
It really is incredible.
Yep.
But he doesn't actually talk to Batman. When you talk about actually speaking with Batman, where do you go?
Ledger.
Really?
For me, I go Ledger.
I go Jack.
Okay. You like the Ledger, for me, the Ledger scene that will always be the one I remember is the interrogation scene. There's no more intense scene in that movie than that scene.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing that I love so much about like his interaction with other characters, and this might even just take the cake over the entire rest of the list, the first 8 minutes of Dark Knight, when you don't even know that he's Joker yet.
Right.
Three of a kind.
You
Let's
don't know
do this.
who he is. Yeah.
And he's each one of those guys he's interacting with, and then finally, when he peels out, like, and he kills William Finchner, like, that shit blows me away.
Him killing Finchner is like one of my favorite moments, period. I love when he talks about the little rat on the screen. I love when he interacts with the gangsters.
He's out, right?
But we're talking Batman specifically. I think I still go Jack.
I
love that he comes. I love that you see Bruce Wayne and Jack Napier have a conversation, like as when he's an adult in her apartment. Yeah. And then he shoots him. Like, I love that. I love.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. I love Dance with the Devil in Pale Moonlight. I love the way that he acts with why can't I think of her name? Vicky Vale.
Yeah. No, he's great, and the stuff. I also love the scene on camera when he says, you know, like, I've taken off my makeup. Can you take off yours?
And at the end too, you wouldn't hit a guy in glasses, would you? Like, there's things there I love.
Agreed. No, really, really memorable. So for me, the best Ledger Batman scene for sure is the interrogation. There's not really another scene with Batman in that movie that I like as much.
Yeah, the end is fine when he talks about like
his performance in the movie honestly starts to tail off after. It's really after he gets out of jail. I think it's like that final 30. It's like him hanging upside down. His final monologue never really hits me that hard. And also him with the whole entire scene with the boat and in the building. All that. That's the stuff that is the weakest.
Yeah.
The strongest, I mean, definitely the stuff with him interacting ladies and gentlemen, like that scene's amazing.
Coming into the party.
Yeah, interacting with regular people there, that's like really memorable.
Yeah, telling the story about his scars.
Oh, each of those. I mean, so he gets a lot of praise from me there. I do love everything you just told me about Jack. I think you're absolutely right. Arthur, there's no Batman. The way he interacts with other people, I mean, Zazie Beetz, like, honestly, one of the criticisms I had heard about this movie, I think you said that McQueenie had said this, was that he feels like, crazy at a consistent level throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of interesting to think that by the end of the movie, his interactions with other characters don't feel that different than his interactions at the beginning when he's not Joker yet. It's almost the downfall of comparing him to the rest of these is that he doesn't get elevated by having to be a comic book character. He's a crazy guy that puts on makeup.
Yeah.
That's all he is in that movie. He doesn't have any powers. He doesn't have any henchmen. He doesn't have any big plan. He's just going to kill a talk show host.
That's his plan.
And go to jail. That's his whole plan. So
right. And then like him interacting with other people, him and Zazie Beetz never actually interact other than one time.
The therapist scene
twice,
is pretty memorable. That's pretty good.
Therapist is good. And then him at work. I mean, yeah, there's good stuff in there, but it's also just like such a study of just like everyday life of this type of person. It doesn't feel as impactful, even though they are impactful for that exact same reason that I said they're not.
Yeah, we barely see Leto interact with anybody.
Yeah, it's mainly just him and Harley, and then like.
And if you're going to talk about that, I think the single most important version of the interaction of animated Joker is with Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. It's because that character's created in that cartoon. It's literally invented in the cartoon. And
really?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's invented by Bruce Timm in the cartoon, and it didn't exist before that. And they find a way, somehow, to make this interaction like the most memorable thing of the entire show other than Batman's voice.
Right. Her falling in love with him, right, as his therapist.
Mr. J.
I remember, yeah.
Like, all that stuff. Puddin', like, they somehow make this character calling Joker Puddin' not dumb.
Massive, yeah.
It's, like, really memorable and so effective. I actually would give a lot of credit to his interaction with Batman, to his interaction with, like, any of his henchmen, to, like, the way he does something and then his laugh will hit. It always feels like he's, like, set up and the laugh is, like, the punchline to his scene.
Right.
The way he runs off. I don't know. Like, I actually think there's a lot of Leto's character that's pretty inspired by that.
That's one thing I didn't talk about physicality was Arthur Fleck and his running. Because you see him running a few times.
Yeah.
And I actually love seeing his kind of, like, frantic, crazed run.
Yeah. So I think for my interactions. Yeah, I can't give Hamill the nod to like tops. It just doesn't do it for me. Well, those three are like.
I think I go Ledger Jack.
You go Ledger Jack.
I go Ledger Jack, and I'm sticking to it. I really like what Jack does with interactions. I like him in Jack Palance. I love him in Michael Keaton. I love him in Batman. Like all the things I think are great.
Yeah, you got to stick with those two for me as well. You got to stick with Jack and Ledger. And the question
is, he also finally kills his number one dude. Like, he finally just shoots him at the end. He's like, hey, can I use your gun? And then he just shoots him with it. And you're like, that guy's been with you since day one.
Yeah, I think I go, man, this is like right down the middle for me. I'm gonna go tie. I'm signing a tie. I'm signing a draw for these two. I can't decide which one I think is better.
That feels like cheating.
It's not. I'm gonna say Ledger / Jack. Maybe by the end of the show I'll change my tune. But
okay.
I can't decide who I give more credit to. And so then, we have two last things to do here. We are running out of time, so we'll have to. Well, it's okay though, because we have a guide to get to our rankings. The rankings will be quick.
Yeah.
So the last two things are laugh / voice, and then Joker moment. And the two distinguished Joker moments will be how we end this before we do the rankings. Laugh voice for me. I put Hamill at 1 on the laugh.
Really?
It to me is so distinctive in a way that none of the other laughs like charted for me. Like they all charted for me.
Right.
All the good ones. But his laugh is like the one that if you were to play it for me, I'd be like.
Well, he also has like he has a bunch of different ones. Whereas like it feels like Ledger, Jack, and Joaquin all had their laugh. Same with Leto.
Yeah, the thing they came
Leto's
up
was
with.
like he like covered his mouth.
I don't even remember it, to be honest.
Well, they like make fun of it. There's like a clip of it showing like all the Jokers, like it's like flipping through a flip book.
Yeah.
And then while you're flipping through the book, it shows them laughing, and an artist did it. It's amazing. So it's like flipping through a flip book. It shows them laughing and like what they do, and then audio plays over it of them laughing. They do all of them. They do Hamill, they do Caesar, and then they do all. Leto's is like a half second, and he like covers his mouth, and it like shows like his teeth on his hand.
Yeah, that's one of the But
I think he only has like 1 or 2 laughs in the movie.
It could have been like a scene that got cut. They could have cut it more.
I don't remember it.
Me neither. It's so strange. It's like it feels so bad to include him on this list just because I feel like all we're doing is talking about how shitty he is. But
I've seen I mean, I know it's recent, but I've only seen Joker once.
Yeah.
You know?
Same
thing. So it's like, I have to go. So the most iconic laugh is Heath Ledger's because of where I was in my life when you finally heard it, right? Heath Ledger, pretty boy, playing the Joker in Batman.
We're all like 10 things I hate about you, guy.
Like in Dark Knight, after Batman Begins, that's who your villain's going to be. But then when you finally saw that trailer and you heard the laugh for the first time, it gave you chills.
Yeah.
You were like, holy shit, that is real. That's why they put it in the trailer. But I like Arthur Flex more.
It's so distinctive and weird that he comes up with this and he's doing it the way he covers his mouth.
Yeah, and he can't help it.
Yeah,
and I love that part about it too, is that it seems like he actually can't help but laugh.
Like, I think does he do it when he's in the comedy club listening to someone else?
Yeah,
is that when he's doing it?
Yeah, he's like laughing at their jokes.
It's like uncomfortable.
And he's like looking around when he laughs and stuff because
it's like uncomfortable because you're watching him and you're like, you're just like a regular weird guy,
weird dude,
and the laugh feels
weird
like
guys.
The laugh almost with him feels like authentic, like it's real, like not like the other ones all feel like comic book laughs, but his just feels like a person's laughing.
Yeah, like a weird
scarier.
ass laugh, weird dude. And we've all met people that have weird laughs, and you kind of like joke about it. But like this one, and like the amount of times it comes in, and again, like not being able to contain it. There's something I love so much about it.
Yeah, I think for me, I would go Hamill 1. And then do I go Joaquin or Ledger 2?
Ledger's just so good too, and then like voice is something different also, because I think for me voice is Ledger because of the look at me.
Yeah,
like I love that contrast from anything else he does in the movie.
Yeah, I think I go. Man, I think I go Hamill Ledger.
Hamill Ledger. I go Joaquin Ledger.
Yeah,
which feels like something I would have never ever said because I love Ledger's laugh.
I'm trying to think if voice does a voice affect any of these. I still think Hamill's voice is awesome. He does a great voice. I think
his is so like it's high and cartoony, but
I missed it. Like it's like yeah. It's very. It is interesting to think, by the way, if at any point in time Hamill had been given the opportunity to play,
love to have seen that man.
Joker. I think he's a pretty talented actor.
He was just never, and this is going to sound insane.
Yeah,
he was never movie star famous enough.
Yeah, or by the time they were making Batman movies, he had like already sort of had his moment. I think it's probably hard for us to imagine if we had been doing this in '88 when they were casting it, or '87.
We would have both argued, right? Maybe for Hamill to do it.
I mean, if somebody had given him the opportunity, I think we probably. I mean, he was Luke Skywalker in '83. Like, I don't think there's any way that we see him for that role. I think
it would probably be almost offensive.
He did it at a much later age, I guess. It seems like, he did it almost 10 years after. And it's weird, though, that he got the opportunity then that he wouldn't have gotten it in like 87 or 88.
Yeah. I would love to see it.
I wonder.
I would love to have that conversation. And Leto's voice, I actually like Leto's voice.
It's probably one of the most redeeming characteristics. It's just kind of weird and sort of trembly, and it feels kind of scary.
Like it's deep sometimes. And oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, the voice. I can't put him in the top 2, but for me, Ledger goes ahead of Hamill. If we're the voice, because the voice affects so much in this category, that I just can't, in good conscience, put Ledger behind Hamill if we're talking about the voice.
We're doing voice and laugh. Then for me, I think it has to go Ledger Joaquin.
Ledger Joaquin, yeah.
So
I go Ledger Hamill.
It's tough, man. I mean, I know there's only 5 people that we're really talking about, but it just feels like Ledger's won so many of them.
So we'll get to the rankings in a second. So the last thing we'll do before the rankings here is the distinctive Joker moment. We get the number 1, and then you get a runner-up.
Your favorite 2 Joker moments.
It's like feels like it's.
Well, I know my number 1. It's the Joker intro in Dark Knight when he goes into the lair with all the other gangsters. He does the pencil trick. He does the grenade thing.
Yeah.
He sneaks out the back. Like all of it, and the slow laugh in the beginning. And I thought my jokes were bad.
So
like
good.
That is the number 1 Joker moment for me. Period.
No question.
Number 2.
Yeah.
It's Jack laying on the concrete with the laughing.
The laugh track at the end. Yeah, that's such a sweet moment.
It stuck with me for so long.
Yeah.
And still to this day, and the blood and the makeup, those are my 2. I love that moment when he hits the concrete.
Yeah, for me, it's very clearly from either Dark Knight or '89.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think if there's a single moment from one of those 2 movies that's like just absolutely the moment. And I think what it is, it's when he's being interrogated and he tells him that he has Rachel, and he smashes his head against the glass.
Yeah.
And the glass that cracks, and he's like hysterically laughing after his head gets smashed. and he's like, all your strength, all of your training, and he's saying like whatever that line is, there's nothing you can do or something like that. That's probably my single favorite Joker moment. I just remember watching that scene the first time in theaters and just being like, holy shit, this is intense. This is intense in a way that I did not know this movie was going to be intense.
That whole scene when he's like, so you probably want to hear about how I killed your friends or whatever he says, like they're all cowards, you know, and like that, like how they're all cowards before they died. Like, I love that scene.
My number 2 Joker moment is, what did he say? Is it Lawrence with the boombox?
Yeah.
In the art gallery? And and the song. And the song starts playing. That's got to be my other one.
Prince comes on.
Yeah.
So good.
Party Man, I think is the song. Yeah, I think that the art gallery scene is it's almost the best. That's almost number 1. It's stuck with me for so many years, but I do have to go. The interrogation scene is my 1, and I would go Jack in the art gallery is 2. And if you've never seen one of these movies, let's just say for some reason you're listening to this and you've never seen like 89, just go watch it.
You have to.
It's so stylized, but it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's one of Tim Burton's best still to this day, in my opinion.
Totally agree. I think it may just be his best. So,
this
all right,
is tough, man.
We're gonna do our official ranking now, separately. So, I'm looking at my thing here, and it's pretty clear. I'm assuming we're both gonna have the same 5, and it's just got to be Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto's 5. He has to be.
There's just no way he could creep in any higher than that.
No. And then this is where things get different because I put Mark Hamill at 4. And the reason why, again, is exactly what I said earlier on the show, and I'll elaborate just a little bit more. But again, I think that Hamill is incredible at what he does. I think he has a great voice and a great laugh, and he reads those lines very, very well. But the problem is I need to see you on screen. There's so many incredible layers to Joker. I understand that it's his voice, but it's not his movement, and I need that. I need to see the physicality of you being living as the Joker.
It's crazy. I'm looking at my list here, and I only have Joaquin on this list once. He wins physicality. He's not even runner-up on a single other category for me.
Wow.
Which is crazy. I could never have expected that to happen. I was just going to say, I think I'm also putting Hamill at 4.
But you can't.
I think I have. That just seems insane. How do I... Is Mark Hamill really just a better Joker in my mind than Joaquin Phoenix?
Or is it just because you love
the cartoon
you grew
so
up
much?
on it? Yeah.
I think I'll be controversial and just go off my ratings here. I mean, I have Hamill as my runner-up. No, that's not true. Hamill's runner-up twice. Joaquin wins a category. That's got to be worth more than 2 runner-ups.
All right, that's fair.
So I am going to go Hamill at 4.
Wow, so we're tied right now.
And clearly then that puts Joaquin
at 3 for you.
Which is wild.
That is crazy.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I guess 3 for me has to be Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think he might have won more categories for me than Joaquin did.
Yeah.
But it just isn't the same. It's just not the same for me. I love Jack. If I could get any one of those performances again, Jack would be 3rd on my list.
Yeah,
I'd get Ledger again, and I'd get Joaquin again. But I just wouldn't fight to get Jack to do it again, obviously. I mean, he's old now. But
I've got Ledger winning 4 categories, well, tied for 1, winning 3 categories, runner-up for 2 categories. I mean, he's just obviously won, which puts Jack in at number 2 for me.
And then for me, it's Joaquin 2 and Ledger 1, which I guess that's kind of what we should have expected coming into this, and I think we both kind of did.
I think we both kind of knew Ledger would win.
Right.
I mean, there's also the recency bias, which is that, like, if we do this list again in 10 years, it's totally possible Joaquin just, like, runs, just absolute runaway train.
Just runs the table. Yeah.
It's possible that performance is so, like, crazy that we haven't even acknowledged yet that, like, maybe in 10 years we'll want to watch Dark Knight way, way, way less than we'll want to watch Joker. I'm not sure. But
interesting.
We have the same list, swapping Joaquin and Jack in the 2-3 slot, sounds like. So, guys, what is your official ranking of all Jokers? We would love to know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hit subscribe, hit like. If you're listening to this on audio, tweet at me, Ben Bateman Media. You can tweet at Drew, at Andrew Guy. And you can find all of our content online at Team Action Show on Twitter or everywhere else. We are at Action Industries.
Yep. And speaking of everywhere else, youtube.com/Action Industries, where you can find this full video episode up this coming Friday. If you want to listen to it tonight, do that on Podcast One, Apple Podcast, on the Collider Factory feed.
And we also do an entire review of Joaquin Phoenix Joker over on Popcorn Talk on our show Action Movie Anatomy. You can find that on YouTube or on their podcast feed as well, the Popcorn Talk podcast feed. So thanks for listening, guys. We will be back, same time, same place next week. We salute you.
Bye.